You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
And
I'm not going to disagree with you, because you definitely, like I said, it was standing room only, and there were people, standing in the doorway, trying to get in. Even after intermission and stuff, there were still fans coming in like, oh man, what's going on here? Oh, it's wrestling. Oh, let's go check it out. And there were people paying I personally have seen people paying the entrance fee at intermission, just to come watch the second half of the show.
Yeah, I think that, so I have actually had local promotions be upset that I'm running shows, and I think that that's fine, but I think that if they thought about it, I just created 70 new fans who come to my shows monthly, regularly, and they pay. If you think that you could do, I'm priming these fans with $8 shows to pay $20 to your show. They need to want to pay $20 to get to these people's shows, and I'm happy to give them the fans if they want them. But I'm drawing them in. I'm creating new fans. Our fan base, the current wrestling fan base, is aging, and I'm trying to create new ones. And I did that. And that's the only thing. If I can create 2 fans, I'm happy. If I can bring 2 people who say, hey, you made me think wrestling is cool, I'm going to continue doing this without you and go see other places, they should absolutely do that. I'm trying to create money for the business. I'm trying to create buzz and hype for the business. It all comes out from a positive place of me trying to help the business and serve and do what I can do.
See, I love the fact that you said that, is that, you're not trying to, even though other promoters are mad and stuff, like, you're not trying to steal fans away from them. You're like, I'm using my show and my company to build fans for your company. Like, because they come here, hopefully they'll begin to learn to love wrestling, and they'll go and they'll watch your show. Do you think that, in your opinion, do we need wrestling promoters and stuff? Do more wrestling promoters need to have that mind state, especially if they're a very small company? Because we both know that every promoter and booker thinks that they're a mini Vince McMahon, and they think that their company is the next WWE or whatever. But do you think that more companies need to start thinking, hey, look, I'm just an introduction to professional wrestling to build new fans so that you guys can have bigger fans or have bigger crowds?
I think that it depends on what kind of goal the promoter has in mind, because if you think about it, I'm a wrestler first before I'm a promoter, and I'm trying to prove my worth so that I can get into those places who aren't the introduction to professional wrestling, who are the next step, who have eyes from the WWE on them, who have eyes from TNA and Global Force Wrestling and Ring of Honor on them. And I think there should be more startups that are introductions to professional wrestling so that we can garner that crowd. But I think the places that are doing what they're doing, they're putting on these huge shows. They're putting on big shows. They're making money. They're paying the boys. I can pay the boys, but I'm not making money hand over fist. I'm selling out stadiums, but I'm doing it at cost. And I think that the most appropriate thing that I can do is help other businesses. I don't think other businesses need to help me if they don't want to. They don't need to help other people. If people are in the business for themselves, that's fine. I'm still going to give them the fans. I'm not bitter about it. I'm having fun with this. And the second that wrestling stops being fun, I'm going to not do it anymore. So I'm going to do what I do, but I think everybody else should continue on their path.
So, you mentioned that, okay, so, wrestle. What could make wrestling not fun for you? Because I'm going to tell you the truth. After 10 years, you start becoming a little jaded. And I know you've been around those guys like myself, who've been in the business 10, 15 plus years. And after a while, the business, you just get jaded from the business. The politics and, the politics and the BS and stuff and the drama kind of weighs you down. How do you keep yourself away from all of that?
It's tough. You have to not be able to let into the heat. I try my best not to get heat with anybody, and I use that term. That's a very broad term, but I try to forgive. I try to talk to people. Communication helps me have fun because I tell everybody my intentions from the get-go so that there's no mistaken, there's no mistaken communication. I keep open lines with everybody that I know. I'm honest and I'm friendly. And I can understand why people get jaded because it's a business. It's show business. And it can absolutely be really cutthroat. But I'm not a part of the cutthroat aspect of it. I'm the one that's trying to have fun. I'm the one that is letting people be creative and be whatever character they want to be on my shows and wrestle how they want to wrestle as long as they're not putting anybody else in danger. And I think that makes everybody happy. I'm trying to keep everybody happy. And I have a very easy time doing that. And that helps me. I get happy on other people's happiness, which sounds so
I will say that out of all the shows I've been to in the last 10 years, you're probably on show day before a show starts. You're probably the most relaxed, easygoing promoter / booker I've ever seen on show day, myself included. Like, usually on show day, guys are stressing the hell out. The promoter and the booker are stressing the hell out, trying to make sure everything's good. And you're just the most relaxed, easygoing guy. Like, whatever. Okay. Hey, yeah, look, just park over there. It's fine. Who cares? We'll get this straight. Don't worry about it. It'll all come together.
I want to freaking out.
Yeah. I want to ask you one more question before we go back to talk about you and your career and stuff. Because I saw somebody talk about it, ask the question on Facebook earlier this week. As a promoter, when guys are sending you resumes and stuff, and they're trying to get booked at Prov Wrestling, what do you look for in a resume? What draws your attention? What do you look for, and what's the one thing that could take somebody's resume straight from in your hand to the trash can?
I think that I get a lot of emails, and I'm not used to that because I was just a wrestler, but now everybody wants to wrestle for me. But I love write-ups. Look at Timmy Lou Retton. Timmy Lou Retton is a great example, and he's the reason that I got that car from North Carolina up there. He didn't show up because he got a huge opportunity, and I'm happy for him. But he sent this professional, down like super formal. You don't have to be super formal with me, but if you tell me where you've trained, tell me who you've trained with, tell me who you wrestle with, tell me what seminars you've done, and you include links to your matches. My ideal one. So the resume that I'm curating for myself, I'm taking from other people that have applied to me. I'm trying to do multiple matches. I'm doing a match where I'm a face, a heel. I'm doing an enhancement match, in quotes. I'm trying to show the promoter that I can be everything that they need me to be and more. I can put guys over. I can put myself over. I can work a crowd. I can make a crowd boo me. And I'd say the one thing that makes me not book somebody is not grammatical errors, but typing super horribly, like yo, and then the letter U, and then the GON, and then book, and then me. And I get a lot of those too, and I just ignore them, or I say no.
As a booker and stuff now, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, hey, what you doing? You should check this out. Book me. And it's like, it's one long run-on sentence. You're like, oh, come on, man. Trash.
Yeah.
I'm not even reading the rest of this.
They did like Siri talk to text, and then they just sent it without reading it.
Exactly. It's like, all right, man, I'm not even, no, I don't give, like, you could be the next Shawn Michaels. The hell with you. Ugh, I'm not booking you. All right, so back to Sully Banger, the wrestler and stuff, because you're still very young in the business, man. What's some of your goals coming up? You know, what do you want to do? What's the next evolution of Sully Banger?
Well, I'm working on some new gear. I want every iteration of gear I can do so that I can fit every character, but my immediate goals, let's give it a year. I want to be fit. I don't know if you've seen me with my shirt off, but I look like Greg Valentine now. Like, I got a big tire around my waist. I'm not in the best physical shape. I have been in good shape, but I work 50 hours a week and I wrestle 2, 3, 4 nights a week, and I travel, and I mean, there's no excuses because guys still find ways to do it, but I got to work on my body. I'm completely happy with my selling. Everything can always get better, but I'm happy with my selling. I'm happy with my strikes. I'm happy with my crowd work, but I want to get fit. And I know that the opportunities will come after that because as shallow as that is a big part of this culture. You want to look like a Hercules. People want to look up and see this guy who is not them on a stage, in a ring. And that's my immediate goal, is to get fit for my life, but also for wrestling. After that,
all right. What? After that, I don't care. I don't really care. Are you gonna? So I know our time is running very short and stuff, man. And there's so many questions I wanted to ask you. We started talking about RV wrestling and mullets and stuff. But all right. So, what upcoming shows do you have? Go ahead and give us all of your upcoming shows real quick, man. What you got coming up?
Yeah. All right. So I wrestle every Thursday at the XWA Wrestling Kingdom, which I don't know if you've heard of XWA, but they're getting pretty big. They are big.
Yes,
in Rhode Island.
I'm about to say, I'm about to say I met the gentleman at your show, and I contacted him, and he never contacted me back, and it's so weird because like I'm in Jersey like every other weekend, every other Wednesday now, and I was like, hey, I can just drive to Rhode Island on Thursday.
You should. I'll try to facilitate that to the best of my abilities. Mike Antonucci's got a lot going on, but I wrestle that every Thursday, and it's a student show mixed with some names on there, and it's a really good opportunity. It's helped me get really good, and the crowds are good. It's 60, 70 people on a Thursday night for $5. You can't beat that. And the wrestlers are amazing. I'm making really good friends. It's how I met Briggs. It's how I met CPA from New York. It's how I met Beefcake from New York, Jay George, just everybody that travels to get there because they want the opportunities and they're doing the drive. Other than that, I'm in New Bedford for House of Bricks on Saturday. I think you might have wrestled with him once or twice. And then
yes, I have. Yes, Brooklyn. I have.
It's not the most amazing, but it's fun, and Mike Baker's a nice dude. I'm in Brooklyn August 11th for Wrestlers Laboratory attached to Battle Club Pro with British Strong Style's going to be there, so I get to hang out with Pete Dunne. I bet we'll get along. And then August 20th is my next show. It's going to be awesome. And then after that, I've got a couple tentative dates, but nothing crazy lined up. I'm working on it. I usually only book a month out because I forget.
See, I try to book like, 2 to 3 months out, so I already have like my time, I already know where I'm going to be at. And of course, shows cancel, et cetera, et cetera. Like I'm able to find like, something cancels next month. Okay, well, I already got the spot filled. That's just me. I usually recommend guys book themselves 2 to 3 months out. That way you can go ahead and plan accordingly. But, whatever.
I'm not smart.
Right. Says the man who's like wrestling, training, and running his own company. Whatever. And not only running his own company, but packing the place out every show. Like, whatever, man. What? This podcast is to get yourself over. Don't try to be that humble. Anyway, all right, so before I let you go, man, I've got to get all of your social media where people can follow Sully Banger and stuff and the adventures. I feel like your mustache and mullet should have its own like social media Twitter page, or at least its own Instagram.
You can look at my mustache. You can look at my mustache and mullet at Sully Banger on Instagram. That's where I update the most because I like pictures. So at Sully Banger, one word. I'm at Sully Banger on Twitter, and you can just look up Sully Banger on Facebook. I kept it really easy for everybody. That's
the best way to do it, man. That way
you can check out Live Prov Wrestling on Facebook too.
I apologize for mispronouncing that. I think it's the Southerner in me was just like Live Prov.
Everybody who isn't from Providence says it wrong. It's fine.
Oh,
it's not you.
Well, I don't feel bad then. It's not a Southern thing. It's an everybody but Providence thing. Okay. Anyway, before I let you go, you got any shout-outs? Yeah, any shout-outs? Anybody you want to put over? You want to say hi to your mom? Whatever. This is your chance right now, man. Get yourself. Say hi to your mom.
I want to put so many people over, but right now, right next to me is Isana, the Suplex Sweetheart. She's another local up here who's been doing good and putting in the work. She's been training 6 days a week, and is really showing in her work. Other than that, again, Josh Briggs. I want to put over my boy, the incredible Huck, William Huckabee, for having me, but also for showing me that I want to do a pop-up powerbomb, but I never want to take one. And I want to say hey to Bob Evans for getting me to meet you. That's an opportunity that I wouldn't be talking to you right now if I didn't meet Bob Evans. So that's it. Nobody else.
Well, yeah, the hell with everybody else. They're not that important. You said all the important people.
Yeah,
me, her, and Bob. Yeah, me, her, Bob, and Josh. The hell with everybody else. Anyway, look, man, thanks for being a guest of the show. We're going to talk off the air and stuff in the next couple of weeks. So we definitely got to figure out a way to get you down to North Carolina and or me back up to Rhode Island because I had a great time. And every time me and you hang out with each other, man, it's always a bunch of laughs and shit. So we'll talk about that, offline. But thank you for being the guest of the show tonight, man. Hopefully, I really want to get you on. I feel like we should have like a live taping one time during like Prov Wrestling. Like we should just do like a live podcast during Prov Wrestling in the locker room.
Yeah,
I think that would be amazing. With the cast,
my folks live down near you too. I can come down there, but I would love to have you back up. So
yes, so we'll talk about that. We'll work on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for being the guest of the show, man. I'll talk to you later. All right.
All right. Thank you, man. Have a good night, guys.
You too. Bye-bye. Kev.
That is a great interview, Will. I mean,
Thank you.
I had not heard of Sully Banger before, but I had heard of Live Pro of Wrestling before. I've seen the posts on it before. So they get some social media interaction for sure. You know, I didn't know really who this guy was before the show, but after this interview, I got to get to know this guy.
I'm telling you, man. Look, the dude is hilarious, bro. Like, you know, me and him. Like I said, we met like the first time at like Carino's show, and it was just like, hey, I feel like I've known you forever. And then as far as Live Pro Wrestling goes, now that I know how to pronounce it correctly, it's one of those shows where you really have to be there to understand what it's all about. You know, like I said, there's no chairs, everybody stands up, there's a live band, there's alcohol. The crowd is not a typical wrestling crowd. You don't have somebody's grandmother watching it, and there were like 2 or 3 kids. There was a couple of kids in the audience, but not a lot of children. It was a lot of college kids, a lot of 20-somethings. In my opinion, he's doing a really good job of introducing, you know, the 20-somethings, the 18 to 25-year-old kids who really didn't grow up with watching wrestling. They're more of the MMA generation of stuff. He's doing a great job of introducing professional wrestling to a lot of the younger fans and stuff, and building and creating new wrestling fans for other companies in his area. I love the fact that he said, you know, I'm charging these people $8 a ticket and introducing them to wrestling so that they'll come to your show and pay $20. I love that about the guy. What about you?
Yeah, that's a great concept, and I don't think any other wrestling promoter would really think like that either.
Definitely not. He's definitely the first wrestling promoter that I've ever heard of that said, hey, look, I'm running small shows with cheap ticket prices to create new wrestling fans so that hopefully they'll come to your show and pay outlandish and pay way more to see your wrestling product. If I was in that area and I was a wrestling promoter in that area, I would try to get a good working relationship with that guy. Especially the fact that, cause his fans are very rabid, whatever, crazy about his product. They are, the 2 shows that I've been to and stuff, man, like you see a lot of familiar faces, you know, fans that come to his show. And I'm pretty sure if he said, hey, you know, come join us at company XYZ tomorrow night, we'll all be there partying it up once again. I'm pretty sure a large part of his fans who don't usually go to wrestling shows would probably go to that wrestling show as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, great interview. Before we send everybody home on a high note, Kev, what do we got going on? Because it's been so long since we've talked to each other. What you got? What do you have coming up? What do we have coming up on the Angry Marks podcast?
Well, tomorrow night we will have a new episode of Glove Up or Shut Up. And Thursday night, of course, we'll have Thursday Night AMP. And then after that, we'll record a new episode of the Impact Implosion. And as soon as we get done here, we're recording the newest episode of the Raw Reaction.
Well, that sounds fun, especially after being on social media, listening to, you know, the reviews of the past pay-per-view and last night's Raw. I'm definitely looking forward to what they're going to say on the Raw Reaction. As for me, once again, a long week of wrestling. Wednesday night, I'm actually doing something I haven't done in a while. I'm doing a charity show. It's at a camp it's at a camp for adults and children and adults with special needs. Once a year, this camp puts together a charity wrestling show, for all of their, I guess, camp attendants. So I will be doing that Wednesday in Princeton, West Virginia. You know, shaking hands, kissing babies. I'm going to be defending the Worldwide Grand Prix title and stuff there at this camp. Thursday, I will be in Charleston, West Virginia for Renegade Pro Wrestling in Charleston, West Virginia. Friday, I will be in Marmet, West Virginia for Mega Championship Wrestling. Saturday, I got a doubleheader. I will be in Greensboro, North Carolina. First, around at 6, the show starts at 6:30. I will be at, NRLL in Greensboro, North Carolina. It's a luchador, the Lucha Libre company I was telling you about, Kev, that I've worked for a couple of times. Later on that night, I will be in Hickory, North Carolina for NAPW. National Association of Pro Wrestling or something like that. New American Pro Wrestling. I'll be at that show later on Saturday night. And then Sunday is the season 3 finale of AWE. Huge things going on at AWE. I can't release on the show what's going to happen, but I promise you, if you are in the Atlanta area, you do not want to miss that show. It's going to be some of the craziest, most jaw-dropping shit you have ever seen at a professional wrestling event in your life. And when I say huge, I mean like Hulk Hogan joining the NWO huge. It is, Jesus, it's going to shake up Georgia wrestling, what's going to happen Sunday night. So once again, West Virginia, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, two chances to see me in North Carolina on Saturday, and then Sunday, Atlanta, Georgia, AWE season 3 finale. Got a busy week, Kev. Like, somewhere, hopefully, I'm gonna be able to watch like the rest of the G1. I'm be able to get my G1 fix, like probably after shows. Like, just, got so much going on.
The Incredible Hulk is busting loose.
Busting loose, man. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for tonight. Kev, you got anything else to say?
I have nothing else to say. You did it all.
All right. We've done it all for this week. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the friends of the Wrestling Nerdcast, the Prophet Rick Craig. What is wrong with me talking today? Kev, like I can't talk for some reason.
I've had that problem all day too.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm gonna try it again. All right. On behalf of the Prophet Rick Craig, the Bearded Wonder Zane Paisley, the Heroes and Legends champ, Drew Skills, Troy Miller, and on behalf of the hardest working producer in wrestling podcast history, my homie, my cohort, my partner in crime, Killer Kev,